Buck. I feel like Disney completely and totally lost its mind over the bill that had been signed in Florida to allow kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders not to be instructed about sex-related issues. And Disney, we talked about earlier this week, came out with a statement slamming the state of Florida and saying they were going to try to repeal this bill. And Ron DeSantis obviously fired back about that yesterday. But I want to play some of these clips from high-ranking Disney executives, and I want everyone out there to think about this. The foremost company in the world when it comes to entertaining children is in an uproar over a bill that does not allow kindergartners, first graders, second graders, or third graders to be taught about sex-related issues. By the way, the vast majority of American parents agree with this Florida bill. But, Buck, it really kind of gets summed up here. Disney has banned, for those of you, and I grew up going to Disney World. This is what my parents loved to do. We would stay in the campground at Fort Wilderness. For anybody out there who knows familiar with Disney World, that was where we went on our family vacations. We would stay in the campground. We had an amazing time. As part of many of their celebrations, they often would say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in an effort to speak to everyone who was inside of the park. These insane people at Disney have decided that using the words ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls is not gender inclusive enough. And so they have banned the usage of ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls inside of the park. And I want to play some of this for you. First of all, here is Ron DeSantis, who we had dinner with last night, what he said about what Disney's response to this bill has been. Listen.
I think they crossed the line. And, people ask me, kind of about, their posture on the bill. I said, you know what? If we would have put in the bill that you were not allowed to have curriculum that discussed the oppression of the Uyghurs in China, Disney would have endorsed that in a second. And that's the hypocrisy of this. And, we're going to make sure we're fighting back when people are threatening our parents and threatening our kids.
Clay, can we just review what's happened in the last couple of weeks that's taken us to this point, just so everyone's clear?
Yeah.
LGBTQIA plus activists.
Good job by that, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, that is
I don't think I could have nailed that. Yeah.
That's the real acronym, okay? LGBTQIA plus. They, activists, decided to rename a bill that is very clear in its language about not having kindergarten through third grade students instructed in gender identity and sexuality and matters that pertain to that. That is what it says. The activists renamed it the Don't Say Gay bill. For them, all of a sudden, not teaching kindergartners about gender identity and sex, let's just be honest, about sex and what, procreation and all these things, that is an assault, according to the activists, on the LGBTQIA plus community. And then we sat there, we said, hold on a second. It's one thing when Disney stands up and says that they're going to virtue signal on this, and the Disney executives. But this went and hat tip Chris Rufo, who finds so much of this stuff out there, the training about critical race theory and the training in gender theory, gender identity at corporations. And if you go against this stuff, just so everybody understands, I mean, if you're a Disney employee, let's say, and you speak out against this, they'll call you a bigot. They'll probably fire you, right? So this is the world we are living in now. Here is Disney President Carrie Burke, who is saying that she wants, now she's the president of content, Clay. She gets to determine what gets made at Disney as a movie, as a TV show, saying that she wants more LGBTQIA plus characters, up to 50% in the next year. Lead characters must be from that community. Play clip one.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. And that was the thing that really got me, because I have heard so much from so many of my colleagues over the course of the last couple of weeks in open forums and through emails and phone conversations. And I feel a responsibility to speak, not just for myself, but for them, to all of us. We had an open forum last week at 20th where, again, the home of really incredible, groundbreaking LGBTQIA stories over the years, where one of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, it actually is true.
So she's upset,
madness.
Clay. I mean, think about this. She's upset that there aren't enough. I remember when using the word, the Q word was you're not allowed, but now it's a word we do use because it's in the acronym. That's the Q in the LGBTQIA plus. So she says we don't have enough queer leads. That's one thing. This is for Disney content, folks. Just remember that. For your kids. This is cartoons for your kids to watch mostly. And then on the other end of it, notice she starts out and says the parent of two queer children, I believe she says a transgender and pansexual child. Now, maybe she means adult children. That's not clear, to be fair to what she says. How many people listening to this said pansexual?
I have no utter. I know what a transgender person is, and I do think it's important. I would like to know how old her kids are, because when she says kids, I mean, some people talk about their kids and they're 30, but because they're still their kids. What is a pansexual? I'm not even kidding, Buck. I have no idea what a pansexual is.
So I'm getting attacked by the blue-haired, masked in their Twitter photos, mafia of the left on this issue, because I just pointed out basically nobody knows what this is. It's a term that has almost never been used. They'll say it goes back to psychiatry in the early mid 20th century. Pansexual, as opposed to bisexual, right? Bisexual is pretty straightforward. It's somebody who's attracted to men and women.
To the extent that men and women still exist.
Well, see, here's the thing. They've expanded to pansexual means irrespective of whether somebody actually is gender conforming, i.e., if someone is not actually male or female somehow, you are still attracted to that person. You are attracted to all people irrespective of where they fall on the dozens of gender and pronoun options that are out there now. So it's basically saying I'm an all of the above approach, including non-gender conforming people. Now, to those listening to this saying, hold on a second, there really are, it's one thing to say you can be trans, right? Go from one gender to the other. But there really are actually two genders. There's male, there's female. This is a function of biology. Understand that not only are they fighting us on this or arguing, debating on this, this is the president of content at Disney, Clay, saying we need to teach this stuff through our content to your children. That is what the senior person in charge of this at Disney is saying to everyone across America who's hearing this right now.
I saw a quote from, I'm not sure who said it, but I know that there are a lot of Disney people. And let's be clear, by the way, there are a lot of Disney employees who roundly reject, probably the majority of them, and maybe even the vast majority of them, all of this, right? The idea that Disney needs to be a hyper-political organization, that the president of Disney needs to be saying that her pansexual children need to be reflected in cartoons that your kids are watching. This is, by the way, crazy. And Walt Disney himself would be rolling over in his grave if he saw what his company was coming to represent now. And this is, I got to give credit. We had Jordan Peterson on a while ago, but what he said and has continued to say for years has been so prescient, because we got a lot of people who own businesses. When you let these diversity and inclusion imbeciles into your company, with the idea being that they are going to strengthen your company, you don't understand that you are effectively, this is the Trojan War. You are letting them into your company, and they are going to destroy it, and they are going to destroy you. This is what's happening inside of Disney. I mean, this is the Trojan War. They are saying, hey, you've got to have more diversity and inclusion.
It's the Trojan horse in the Trojan War.
Yes. They are getting inside of the companies, and they are destroying them from the inside. And that's what's happening to Disney right now.
Their goal, the DE&I, or is it D&I rather, diversity and inclusion training and all of this, and this ideology of the left that's being infused through corporations like Disney and Google and Facebook and Netflix.
Everywhere.
And Goldman Sachs, by the way. And,
everywhere.
And Cravath. And, that's a top law firm in New York, pretty famous law firm for the legal folks out there. These places are also the announce their pronouns places now in emails and in meetings. My name is John. My pronouns are he, him. This is what's going on all over the place. They don't see they bring this in under the rubric of inclusiveness and everyone feeling comfortable and everyone being okay. And then when you say, hold on, I actually don't think that my toddler should be watching a movie that is delving into, or a cartoon that's delving into the pansexuality of a character. I don't think they're ready for that. You're a bigot. Maybe you should be fired. Maybe you should lose your job and be run out of society because you're so hateful. That is their mentality. They're not looking to educate people and bring other people in and have a It's not about a conversation. It's a lecture. And that's what Ron DeSantis here in Florida has understood from the beginning of this fight. They're not looking to have everyone be everyone should be treated with dignity and decency. We're nice guys, Clay. We advocate for everybody to be nice and fair and kind to people. This is about, though, what is true, and it's about what's true for your kids. It's about what's true for your children.
We need to play a couple more of these clips because I think parents out there are going to find these to be jaw-dropping. And by the way, this is the president of Disney. We're not talking about some random, low-level employee who's protesting in Disney and making her own or his own videos. We're talking about somebody who decides what shows are made at Disney.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for listening to the Clay and Buck Show. You won't hear that first part of Disney anymore, though. That's for sure. Because they've told us that you will no longer hear that because it is triggering. It is gender normative. You remember, you have to learn a whole new language. Never mind a whole new sense of sexual attraction, gender identity, and all these things, or else you're a bigot.
Yes.
They don't want to they're not trying to teach you. They're saying this is the new reality. Shut up and celebrate it, or else. And here, for example, is another senior Walt Disney Corporation official saying why they got rid of, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, or whatever the official Disney phrase is. Am I getting it right, Clay? I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They've been doing it before big events at Disney for 50 years probably because, as long as Disneyland and Disney World have existed, they first did away with ladies and gentlemen because that was not inclusive enough.
Now it has to be ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, plus non-cisgender, non-gender binary, conforming, heteronormative and non-heteronormative, pansexual, open, and transgender affirming individuals. Thanks for coming to Disney World. Here's the lady actually. I think I said lady. I don't know. Yeah. I'm making a big I'm making a big assumption there, and I am really seriously. I'm putting her into a gender box. Gender normative. Sorry, I'm going to put $1 into the gender normative jar. Here we go. Play the clip, please.
We are in the process of changing over those recorded messages, and so many of you are probably familiar when we brought the fireworks back to the Magic Kingdom. We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We say dreamers of all ages.
Yeah,
I really don't know at this point, Buck. What are you called if you don't identify as a man or a woman? Like, what are you allowed to be an amorphous being somewhere in between? I mean this honestly, because even the transgender universe, that is about acknowledging that you're a man or a woman, right? You may feel like you're a man, but you're a woman or whatever. I think all this stuff is crazy. But are there now lots of people that are refusing to say whether they are a man or a woman? Like they're in some amorphous nether region between the two or outside of the two? Like, who are the people that are not, like, what percentage of Americans or global citizens are not willing to acknowledge that they are a man or a woman. Like they're somewhere else in between.
I don't know, Clay, but there are a lot of people with blue hair on Twitter who voted for Biden who are literally shaking right now.
By the way, did you see, speaking of literally shaking, did you see that Amy Schumer is still unable to recover from the Will Smith's slap?
She's the real victim, Clay.
She is the real victim. I don't know whether she's a man or a woman. She may not know.